So I have my lovely client here. What we're going to do is I'm going to tell her to look up at the ceiling. When she looks up at the ceiling, that is when I will get ready to start applying the tape. I don't want her to look back at me because that will change her eye shape. So I'm going to place my tape starting on the outer corners like so. As you can see, she has long, beautiful lashes. So I'm making sure to completely get all those lashes down, but I'm avoiding the water line, which is that slimy line, a little pink line on her eye. I'm avoiding that. If we put any tape there, that will just cause irritation and uncomfortability. So we want to make sure to be completely avoiding that line. Since her eyes are light sensitive, they began to tear up a little bit. So what I did is I grabbed a lint-free wipe and I'm just going to gently press the lint-free wipe against her tear duct so it collects all of her tears. So I'm going to be doing that right now. Remember, very gently. After I absorb the water, I move on and ask her to open her eyes. Like so. I'm getting the tape between her bottom and top lashes. There we go. And then I'm going to gently press down once I have the bottom lashes that I want separated from the top. Make sure you take your time when you are doing this for your client. We don't want the top and bottom lashes to get stuck. Here I go, doing the inner corner of the bottom lashes, avoiding the waterline. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out my mirror and double check, making sure that her eyes are not open at all. If they were just a tiny bit open, then I would readjust the tape and make sure her eyes can be completely closed. We want their eyes to be completely closed so that they don't experience any irritation from the glue's fumes. So from here, what I'm doing right now is I'm preparing another piece of tape. I'm just cutting it and I'm just going to apply it onto the other eye just because I wanted just a little bit more coverage. A few little hairs were still sticking out, so I wanted to make sure those are going to be lying completely down. Coming back to the next eye, I'm going to ask her to open and I'm just going to gently press down and also add in this extra piece. I want to just make sure their lashes are completely down before I get started. In her outer corners, some of the top lashes went underneath the tape. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to gently lift them out. That way I can make sure that I see them. Some of her top inner corner lashes went underneath the tape, so I'm just gently using my tweezers to lift them all up so that way I can make sure that I see them when I'm lashing. Now that I have all the lashes completely ready to go, now for primer. The liquid is already on my micro wands, so I'm just gently going to kind of pet through her lashes with them. Like so. Make sure I'm coating them from the top to the bottom. After applying all the primer, what I'm going to do is blow dry them. So I have my fan blowing and I'm just going to brush side to side so that the lashes become more flexible. Definitely take your time with this step. Want to make sure the lashes are dry before we move on. Now that I'm ready to go, I'm just looking for a good place to get started. So I'm preparing my isolation right now. I'm creating a little fan. And then I'm going to come back and place that fan right after I successfully isolate. Using my long nails, I help myself. Dip in the glue, and now I'm just gently going to place it onto her lash, giving it space, not combining it. Want to make sure the glue dries properly before moving on to the next place. I like to go onto different areas that are much farther away from the lash that I recently placed, so nothing gets connected or combined and nothing gets stuck together overall. So I'm going over to the opposite eye to isolate and then place a lash. Every time I place a lash, I make sure that it completely dries, so I move on to separate sections farther away from it. So this is the majority of her session with me. I'm just isolating, making fans, and placing them. Once you're done placing all the fans, make sure that you properly dry their lashes for about 4 to 5 minutes. This will make sure that they will have no stinging. So when they open their eyes, they won't have any redness and it'll look beautiful like that. And this is the final look.